Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm so pleased to be joined by Emmy Award-winning actor Holland Taylor, a nine-time Emmy nominee who is recognized by the Television Academy this year for her performance as Cybil Richards on the Apple TV Plus series, The Morning Show. First of all, Holland, congratulations on the nomination. I guess, how did it feel when you found out you
I,
were nominated once
I
again?
was really surprised, and so thrilled and so honored. I mean, the nomination is really the deal. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the prize.
Yeah, and especially this year too for The Morning Show. Obviously, so many of your fellow co-stars are also nominees. It's got to be really nice, right?
Isn't it wonderful? All like four supporting actresses, and we
Yeah.
all met the other day on a Zoom, and I mean, it's just fantastic. The four of us on one show. We really love that
Yeah.
gathering.
Yeah, it's really great. I think it's a testament to the strength of the show and the writing and your performances, which are all really remarkable. And so I want to talk a little about your standout episode this year, and I think it was your submission episode too, is White
Yes,
Noise.
yes.
Uh, Great episode. We find out that your character Sybil had sent a racist email in the past that referenced Aunt Jemima while talking about Chris, who is black, and about her contract negotiations. It's an incredible episode. I just rewatched it before our chat here. I guess just to start, when you read that episode and you found out like that was going to take place, I guess like what were your thoughts and like where did you start in terms of your preparation for this episode?
Well, first of all, I mean, her racism is very subtle, and it's a resulting of a kind of laziness and a kind of carelessness. She's not a racist woman. She's not overtly racist, and would be shocked if anybody thinks she was. But it's carelessness. It's generational. It's laziness. It's cultural laziness. It's personal ethics laziness. It's mindfulness laziness, and all this gets exposed. And what I loved was the subtlety of it. She's no Karen. She's something more insidious than that. She's ingrown in the culture, in the industry, in her class, her wealth class. And I loved that. I thought it was incredibly daring writing. I don't know if that episode was also Nicole's submission, but we had a scene that was one of the most remarkable things I've ever filmed for television or a movie. It struck me as being pushing a lot of buttons, extremely current things, fiery things that could make an audience member stand up out of their chair and say, "What the hell is going on here?" You know. So I felt very tested by it. I think Nicole felt tested by it too. Like, have you got the metal to really play this for real? And
Yeah,
the
it's
kind of
incredible. Yeah. I think it was her episode as well, and deservedly so, because the two of you are like that interview, that sequence is really something else. It's incredible. It's remarkable. And Chris interviews Sybil on
yes,
the
and
show.
Karen or I forget her character name. Karen Pittman's character. How can I forget her name? She's the producer who's
Mhm.
calling which camera shoots what. And I didn't realize until I saw it how electric her presence was, because she's watching the scene unfold. She's assessing this remarkable thing that's happening that is so delicate. She's calling which camera should move in. She's calling which shot they should switch to in the production. And that it's really like she's a bronco rider. She's a tightrope walker. And
Mhm.
that she was as much a part of that interview as Nicole and I were.
Yeah. Karen's name is Mia. I had to look it up too. I
Mia,
forgot. Sometimes
yeah,
you blank on these things, it's tough. Yeah, I do
she's the
too.
third. She's the third participant in that.
Yes.
You know,
So in terms of that, like preparing for something like that, when it's an interview, especially where it has to feel like contemporaneous, right? And it's not script. It has to feel like it's a real interview that we're watching,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
How much like how do you prepare for that? Did you have like rehearsal for that, or are you and Nicole completely separate because you want it to feel like really realistic? I guess.
We didn't rehearse that. We don't generally rehearse a ton on the morning show, but we were pressed for time. It was a very big scene in terms of all the people on the sound stage, all being on camera at different moments and all uh, playing a part. Every single person was picked up at some point by the camera doing something or watching or being horrified. And also our director had COVID. He
Oh my
was
God.
he was out in a trailer, and so it was all very fraught and getting information back and forth. We did it from a number of different angles. We shot the entrance into the scene, walking across the floor. It was a long shoot, a long, complicated shoot. And I think everybody felt a sense of, we got to stay focused. We have to stay in this. And I think it was sort of like the real interview, because I think as actresses, we were both tested. We were both tested by it. You know, you have to remember what the character brings. You have to remember what the character is doing. And I mean, I'm sure the same kind of anxiety and walking on eggshells as the character felt. And maybe Nicole did as well. So in a way, it was very useful and very meta, which sometimes happen with actors when they're playing something that they personally have some relationship to, which is not necessarily a good thing. You have to really know what is moving you.
Right. Yeah, it's incredible. You mentioned before about like how, it's like the nuance, I guess, of the of Cybil, right? And like this like idea that she doesn't think of herself as a racist, right? And like she is, and it's like, and that her, and I think the things I really liked about the show, and like you said, like it starts maybe uncomfortable conversations, or at least it's not didactic in its stuff, where it's like
Oh,
you understand. I like, I'm watching it. I was like, I understand her thinking, like saying that her whole life shouldn't be brought down by this one single comment.
right.
You also understand Chris saying like it's not just one comment, right? It's actions, and it's like
Yes.
systemic, and being part of that system, and not where. I just found all of that like super compelling as a viewer, and like you said, and your performance is incredible. Did it also, like you said, like I guess, did it spark conversations in your, like, for you, I guess, in general, about like this kind of stuff? Was it like something that the
Yes.
cast talks about too?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and sort of the Me Too movement had this around the edges as well. Guys who make jokes and who, say, I adore women, I respect women completely. But this girl has the greatest legs. And I just said, why can't I say, well, what a set of gams you've got? I mean, of course, being my age, I think it's great to say that. It all depends if your boss says it or if your coworker says it. And so men had to learn, they had to become conscious of their impulses and kind of screen them a little bit, certainly in the workplace and maybe in life too. And yes, at my age, when I was playing that scene, I absolutely wanted to be awake to every nuance, because I mean, I'm sure off the cuff to Jen's character, Cybil would say, I didn't mean anything by it. It was just a careless remark. We were in a heated negotiation to how much we were going to pay her. And it was like, it was not meant in a racist way, but it was a meme, it was a trope that has to be excised from our casual conversation. And as Nicole's character says, but it's not a, I said I was speaking casually, and she says, but it's not a casual situation. You can't be casual about that. So yes, I mean, in this whole period of these past several years, I hope I've been educated by my experience and my lessons taught.
Yeah.
And I think I remember there's this fantastic interview with Toni Morrison, and who's one of the wise women who's ever lived on planet Earth. And I think she was an English journalist, literature writer, who asked Toni if she would write a novel set in the mainstream. And, Toni Morrison paused and her eyes narrowed. And she just like, watch out. Because she then said, I wonder if you realize what a profoundly racist woman is.
Mhm.
And the woman was, and Toni was mild, but the woman was seriously taken aback and started to protest. And Toni just said, just don't.
Mhm.
And then it sort of explained to her. Toni said, I write about the world I write about. And an author in Japan writes about the world he lives in.
Mhm.
And he is writing for the mainstream.
Mhm.
I mean, it went on. It was just, this girl just got completely unraveled, but not unkindly,
Right.
very temperately.
That's
But
great.
these lessons you should look that up.
I will. I actually will after we hang up here, because this is really, that's
Really
really good.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really good. And it's not terribly long ago. She was quite She's older. The images of her is older.
Right.
She's genius.
I,
So, you know,
yeah, yeah.
I,
I'm loving hearing you talk about this. Obviously, like I said, you're like an acting legend, right? Like 9 Emmy nominations, you won an Emmy, you're great on stage, all these things. But hearing you talk about this, it seems like you're still so excited about the performance and the challenge that this really gave you this season
absolutely.
on the morning show.
That's what's
Yeah,
great about being on the morning show is that the writing is so well. It certainly obviously touches on current hot button issues, and issues in commerce and in business and business behavior and ethics, and in this case in institutional racism and personal racism. I mean, all these things that they're willing to tackle and in a very lively, responsive to the moment way. And Charlotte Stroud and Mimi Leder really are great leaders. They have real guts in this department. And we actors get these new scripts and open them up. And it's like, oh my God, look at this scene I get to do. And I have great scenes with Billy Crudup that are very fiery and really wonderful. He just can't act with any guy better than that. And uh, it has been a real pleasure to be on that show. And
yeah.
so many great actors.
It truly, as if anybody who likes actors, it would like love. It's just a great show to watch. Like you said, like this scene, like Billy Crudup, I think is also obviously an Emmy winner, an Emmy nominee again this year. Just
Right.
an incredible actor. I think his performance on this, and especially in the scenes with you, right, is like so. He's like it's just they're very contentious, like you said, and his energy is such a great,
Well,
like
he's
unpredictable. I guess right is the
so
word maybe.
masterful. And
Yeah,
it's really interesting. This I was talking with Nicole Bahari about this. So, the person is acting with another person, and you are your as people who you are while you're doing it, and you are imaginatively participating in the character while you're doing it. So those two things are running simultaneously in most actors. And like I can be doing a scene with Billy, and he can do something so dazzling, and I can respond as the character, as Cybil Richards, and with a fiery, negative response. But inside, Holland is going, that son of a bitch, that was so magnificent. So like in one scene that we did, I am completely foiled. I'm voted off the board. I'm totally screwed. And he walks away from me and he walks outside of the conference room, which is glass walled. And I'm watching him with a fury. And just as he's about to disappear, he's not even on camera, I don't think. I wish he had been. But I am watching him go. And just before he disappears, that son of a bitch winked as the character. It's like, too bad. So it was like, and of course, Holland went, oh, Billy, that's so fabulous. And Chris, Cybil, the character, was like, enraged by it. And this is the kind of double experience acting is.
it's I love hearing you talk about it. It's absolutely wonderful. You mentioned too about the Me Too aspect of the show and like women in different generations. You also have a great scene in this episode too with Jen Aniston, who plays Alex, talking about that as well, and like kind of like
Yes,
how the expectation that she should like Sybil should get like a lifetime pass, I guess, or whatever, because she like supported Alex and like all these different. I just found that really compelling. And
yes.
again, I love her energy with you as well, Jennifer
Oh,
Aniston. Like as an
oh,
actor, I think you guys are great together too.
oh, we didn't get to do much together, but I savored it. I loved it. One scene that was actually, I think, early in the season, we shot right at the end of the season. I waited like all because of just scheduling on
Sure.
that show, can you imagine? And John Hamm traveling in, and oh my God, the drama. But so Jen and I did that scene kind of late. It was kind of wild. But I love working with her. I love her personally. She's a great girl. And Risa, I don't think I've ever had a scene with Reese, but of course, Reese and I have wonderful history in Legally Blonde.
Hmm.
It's a great experience.
People still fondly love Legally Blonde as well,
I
obviously.
truly do. People speak to me on the street about it all the time.
It's got to be
Oh,
number like a very big prominent fit for I think a lot of people, especially in like the millennial age range. Certainly, I feel like just want to bring up this is a great year for your whole household. You are getting incredible reviews on stage right now for NA, right, which is running I think through September 1st, right? Is that right
right.
in
We,
Lincoln
we run
Center?
until September 1st,
Okay.
including September 1st. Yeah.
Okay. And your partner Sarah Paulson won a Tony in the spring, right? And is an Emmy nominee this year as well, like
I know
yourself.
it's wild. And she won the award, which for me is the most, I mean, she won a Tony, which is already incredible, best actress of the year. But the Drama League, which is a very old, distinguished organization in New York, uh, gives an award, and they just give it. It's not a competition. There aren't nominees, which I love because, frankly, I think all of us actors hate the competitive nature, the race nature uh, uh, of awards. And of course, it's become very much involved in our commerce and in giving people jobs. The fact that it's a competition, we don't care for that. And this Drama League award, there are no nominees. They simply announce who it is, and they give one award in the year, and it's called the Distinguished Performance of the Year, the best acting of the year, man, woman, child. It's one person, and in the past that was always announced beforehand, so you knew who it was going to be. And just in recent years, they announce it at the luncheon.
Hmm.
The luncheon is great fun. It's just everybody, every actor on Broadway is there. And I said, "Oh, Sarah, you're going to have such a wonderful time at that lunch." And I forget what I was doing. I texted her during it. I said, is it fun? Are you loving it? She said, "I won the damn thing." Which I was completely surprised because it's usually given to somebody. I mean, it's an award you can only win once.
Wow.
If you win the Distinguished Acting Award from the Drama League, you can never win it again.
Wow.
So one time, and she won it. And I was just gobsmacked. I thought it was beyond thrilling.
That's amazing. She's
Yeah.
very deserved, obviously, because she's incredible in that show. And I guess, how are you guys planning then to sell? Are you gonna go to the Emmys? Like, what are your plans? Obviously, like, I don't know.
She has something she has to shoot. I don't know whether she's not in LA. I don't know whether she's going to make it or not. I intend to be there
Good.
for that Sunday evening, or is it Monday? I can't remember.
I think it's
Yes,
Sunday.
but I will be back. I will come
Good.
back.
Good. Well, this is great. Holland Taylor, like I said, a 9-time Emmy nominee, a winner previously, and a nominee this year again for the morning show for playing Cybil Richards on that Apple TV drama. Fantastic show, fantastic performance. Congratulations, Holland, on the nomination, and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you for the lovely interview.